This mutation is called Hot and Cold, and it is being played on Void Launch. We have 3 mutators active. We have Blizzard, we have Lava Burst, and we have Scorched Earth. Overall, not a difficult set of mutators, reasonably straightforward. I think probably the only one that's, I would say, more annoying than it is difficult is the Blizzard mutator, which basically spams the entire map with these little storm clouds. These things does make it a little bit difficult to manage your army, and sometimes your army can get trapped and you can actually end up losing a good chunk of your units just as a result. But the one thing you can see is the effect here of the safety zones. So safety zones were added quite a few patches ago. When Blizzard storm clouds are white, they can pass over your expansion and they will not actually deal any damage to any of your units, including your army units. But as soon as a storm cloud, let's see if we can get a view here of a storm cloud. You can see it's red over here. This basically means that this thing is active and it will deal damage to any unit that passes through. Now, let's have a look at the masteries while the players do get set up. We have 10 points into the energy regeneration, 20 points into the attack damage. So this looks like it's kind of like a hybridized kind of Kerrigan build where you are relying a little bit on your units, but you're also relying on Kerrigan's abilities to deal damage. And for Dehaka, we have the Devour Healing, we have the Pack Leader duration, and the Dehaka attack speed. Pretty much the optimal picks here for Dehaka. Now, the one thing I have noticed is that Dehaka is not farming essence on this map, and it's actually really important that Dehaka actually does so. It does make it a little bit easier for him to push into enemy bases throughout the later courses of the game. But more importantly, it just increases his HP and it just increases his survivability. And if you do want to farm essence with Dehaka, even though you have these mutators active, it does make it a little bit more tricky to farm the essence, but you can go into this enemy camp here. So this is where the attack wave spawns. It's just a little bit lower here. There's a small enemy camp there, and to the right, to the left as well, there is a few zealots there, which you can go and eat away at units there. So there are small enemy camps that you can actually feed. The Terran is probably the more difficult one to deal with because the ghost sometimes goes into cloak, but it should be no problem for Dehaka to deal with. There are a bunch of zealots over here that are, I think, probably going to end up getting a surround on Dehaka, and he's going to get trapped here underneath the Scorcher. Tries to get away, but unfortunately, a little bit too slow on that leap ability. That leap ability was on cooldown, and now the Queen taking a little bit of too much damage, and now there's going to be a lane kite back here. Dehaka has respawned by eating some of his drones, and you can just see the damage output here. Like, the Scorched Earth does deal a little bit of damage. A lot of people tend to ignore it because, you know, the amount of damage it deals is reasonably low. But when you have a low HP Dehaka, that can cause a few problems. But now Kerrigan will be helping Dehaka clear out his expansion. Expansion rocks are all cleared now, and his commanders will be ready to go. Over here, the drone is still chilling, and now makes the hatchery as well. So the expansions are out. And what is the research coming up for Kerrigan? Heroic Fortune upgrade, really important. We also have a Murvar's Den for Dehaka. Dehaka relies a lot on his pack leaders, so getting these dens out as quickly as possible is also a really good idea. Dehaka can utilize his pack leader. I'm pretty sure Dehaka can actually clear this mission with only his pack leaders. I'm pretty sure. It's just Dehaka's pack leaders are so strong, especially once Dehaka starts to level up. He can do really well. Dehaka has converted his 2 Zerglings now, his Zerglings to a couple of Ravsors, and now we have another attack wave coming up. And this attack wave composition is the Towering Walkers composition, so this is the old Robo Colossus, I believe. Yeah, mastery-wise, like, everything is okay here. You can see like Kerrigan's primary ability improvement mastery actually getting a lot of value here for Kerrigan, allowing her to like one-shot stuff with her slidey move abilities. And we have Dehaka as well jumping in, eating that sentry as well, so dealing a little bit of damage through that splash. First Warp 100, I think, is active right now, so that set of shuttles will start to spawn. I'm actually not sure why these commanders are sitting back here. I think they're sitting in the safety zone, and they should be trying to push up into this area and, you know, just dodge these blizzards. These storm clouds are a little bit easier to dodge now that the safety zones are active. Before the application of safety zones, the storm clouds would just not spawn at the bottom side of the map, which means you had a greater density of storm clouds near the top side of the map where they were all active. But ever since the application of safety zones, these storm clouds actually go throughout the whole area of the map here, which means that you have a lower density of storm clouds here. Makes it a little bit easier to handle. It still doesn't, like, it still makes navigating the terrain a little bit more annoying because you do have areas which are unpathable. You can see it combined with the lava burst as well. It does get very annoying here to just move out and deal with it. Kerrigan's still in the main base here, and now there's an attack wave that is coming up. I think Kerrigan is going to be making her way here. I think at some point, yeah, she's going to be moving in, be helping Dehaka as well, using her leap to get into position. One Ravasaur is not going to be able to deal enough damage, and now Kerrigan is going to use her Assimilation Aura as well to try and just pick up some extra resources. Dehaka gets caught into that blizzard, and so does that Ravasaur. That Ravasaur does end up going down, and now the two shuttles are basically left undefended, so these commanders will have to try and deal with it. Dehaka needs to get out of that storm cloud, and this is where the danger can come in. If you get caught by a storm cloud and a lava burst comes underneath you, you may end up losing your heroic units. Heroic units actually take extra amounts of damage from the lava bursts here. Lava bursts deal a fixed amount of damage to non-heroics, but they deal, I think for heroic units, I want to say it is something like, it is a huge amount. Like a Hyperion just gets melted by lava bursts. So you want to make sure that your heroic units are always safe and you're paying attention to where they are when you are playing with such units, especially if you're playing a commander like Tychus where all his outlaws are considered heroics. We have the 3 pack leaders as well out right now. I think Dehaka is going for the Mutalisk upgrades, and we have Kerrigan's ability efficiency upgrade as well on the way. So that is really good. The most powerful upgrades are on the way now for these commanders. I noticed that Kerrigan has gone for the chain reaction upgrade. I think that might have been a little bit... I think that gave a little bit of value to Kerrigan when she was dealing damage to the shuttles. I don't know whether she had it at that point, but usually the chain reaction upgrade is not as good as the primary, as the ability efficiency upgrade, and that should be researched first, because that one allows Kerrigan to be able to spam her abilities, and now she'll be able... You can see here, I guess Kerrigan pretty much two-shotting this entire thing. There's no assimilation order though on Kerrigan, and that would have provided a lot of value for Dehaka in getting his Mutalisks out. But over here we have Dehaka ready now. He's going to use his Glevik. Glevik is one of the most powerful pack leaders available. Dehaka is not using... Oh yeah, Dehaka actually got pushed back by the Sentry's force fields here. He uses a Primal Worm to deal with some of these shuttles. Those shuttles might actually end up getting away there, and that one Primal Worm gets killed off by a Lava Bird. Glevik does end up tunneling across now, and he'll be able to clean up that one shuttle. Is he going to be using his Incendiary Acid upgrade, or the Incendiary Acid ability? I don't think he is, and this Glevik might actually end up timing out. And Kerrigan is going to be dealing with this one hybrid destroyer here. There's another bit of an attack wave here. I think it's just one random hybrid and a sentry, but Glevik can't actually see that, and there's no manual casting of the Incendiary Acid, which will pretty much one-shot this entire attack wave. But Kerrigan is now in position and should be able to deal with this a little bit. One leap into the Immortal will give her the shell to be able to survive the rest of this. You can see over here, that's what I was talking about. She used the sliding move, but the other one is also fine. And Dehaka is getting caught into one of these blizzards. He could jump in. I think there's still a sentry there that he can eat to pretty much one-shot a good chunk of these units. I think he's trying to get away, but he is caught into that blizzard, and he does end up deep tunneling across to try and get out of the way here. But yeah, see that was a sentry I was talking about. That could have been actually beaten by Dehaka to be able to one-shot that. Kerrigan now jumps in. She has regenerated her HP. She'll be able to clean up this last hybrid here. Kerrigan is at Hive Tech. What is Kerrigan researching? She's researching the Mutalisk upgrades. She's also getting the armor upgrades for the Mutalisks, which don't really provide as much value. Kerrigan's Mutalisks are really decent, but the armor upgrades I don't really think make much of an impact. Now, since they are, I think does she have the... She doesn't have the fast evolution upgrade, which does actually make it a little bit more inefficient to get these armor upgrades as well, but that'll be fine. I don't know actually if these upgrades will protect the Mutalisks against the blizzard. The armor upgrades apply to the... I don't think it does, but if it does apply to the blizzard, that might actually be a really good value for her Mutalisks, because it'll keep her Mutalisks alive. You can see this is what I was talking about, making it really difficult to move your army around, and these Mutalisks are actually basically caught right into the blizzard. And Dehaka is able to jump out of the way here. You see how this Mutalisk just keeps getting stuck, and it is not really too bad for Dehaka because his primal units, you can see here, this Mutalisk is stuck in a storm cloud and it's just fine. It's like, yeah, I don't care. So the primal Mutalisks are reasonably decent at handling that, but Kerrigan's Mutalisk might actually end up taking way more damage than they might be expecting. Now we have another attack wave and a shuttle wave here. Kerrigan does not look like she will be able to handle this by herself. She may need her ally as well to assist her in this. We have the Primal Reconstitution upgrade. We do not have the Aerial Burst Axe upgrade for Dehaka, so Dehaka cannot actually use Murvar to deal with this. So I think she might just end up sniping these shuttles right now and then deal with the rest of the air units a little bit later. These Mulisks are jumping away and they will be clearing out. There's one last hybrid here that's still not being killed off. That hybrid is sitting at 5 HP. So he's going to get killed off as well by the army of Mulisks. Kerrigan has cleared out the shuttles and she is also cleaning up the rest of this escort. And you can just see how powerful Kerrigan is just as a heroic unit. And now Kerrigan is building up her Mutaflock. And that Mutaflock is going to be dealing an insane amount of damage, especially because I think she's going for the Severing Glaive upgrade as well. Does she have it? Yeah, she has the Severing Glaive upgrade. That one just deals an insane amount of damage to units in general. So it's going to provide a huge damage spike for Kerrigan. Now we have a double shuttle wave spawn. Kerrigan, yeah, so these commanders are basically... I don't think they're going to be pushing into the enemy base at any point, so... reasonably okay engage here. There's a High Templar here that is causing a few problems for these Mulisks, but again, these Mulisks will regenerate their HP reasonably quickly. Morvar as well helping Dehaka here. And now this thing is actually, has this been slowed down by the Blizzard? I don't know if it actually got slowed down by the Blizzard here. There's a random Phoenix here just aggroing this, and now there's going to be a harass wave that'll be spawning, and Kerrigan uses an assimilation aura, 2 sliding moves over here, and that cleans up the escort wave completely, or the harass wave here. The escort wave is still alive here, but Kerrigan will be able to get her Mulisk as well into position. And now we have an immobilization wave. Kerrigan, a few sliding moves here to clean up the rest of these Zealots. There are a few Immortals on the ground, but they're not going to be able to deal with these Mulisks. And all there's left now are a bunch of hybrid behemoths and a couple of shuttle waves here. And I think these Mulisks that are there for Kerrigan are still going to be waiting in the base here. I think she wants to make sure that her Mulisks have all the upgrades they need before she pushes them out on the map. One thing she'll have to be careful is her Mulisks are not as tanky as Dehaka's Mulisks, so a random lava burst like this, for Dehaka it's a minor inconvenience because the Mulisks, even if they die, which is somewhat unlikely, they can respawn. But for Kerrigan, she can end up losing a lot of Mulisks if she's not watching her army, so Dehaka's gonna have a little bit of an easier time handling this mutation than Kerrigan's Mulisks. So we'll see how they choose to approach this. Kerrigan is, I think, gonna have a look here. There is just a random High Templar, which will end up getting cleaned up, as well as one random Zealot. Kerrigan just jumps out of the way, and this is pretty much, these commanders are ready to go now and deal with this triple shuttle spawn. And now this triple shuttle spawn is going to be a little bit difficult. These commanders have not pushed into these bases, which means that there's going to be an attack wave that'll be lining up with the 3 shuttle escorts as well as the shuttles. So there's going to be a lot of... This is going to be basically the ultimate test of whether these commanders can handle the mutators that are being active and can handle these little storm clouds here. This is going to be a lot of maneuvering, and you can see what I mean. These lava bursts are going to be trying to targeting these commanders' armies. These lava burst positionings are not random. There is a little bit of randomness to them, but they mostly try and focus where your armies are or in the path of your units here. So Dehaka is going to jump in right now. He's cleaned up 1/3 of the shuttle wave already. There is another shuttle wave here, and now there is an attack wave. And there's a very nice immobilization wave right on Kerrigan here. No assimilation aura. I think the assimilation aura was still on cooldown, but this is pretty much the entire attack wave completely shredded by these armies here. Kerrigan will have to be a little bit careful. You can see how quickly her Mulisks just end up melting. Kerrigan's maneuvering very nicely around these storm clouds and these lava bursts and keeping her Mulisks pretty much alive. I think Kerrigan lost 1 Mulisk in that whole engage, which is actually really good. You just see Dehaka has not lost a single Mulisk in that entire game right now, and that's basically because his Mulisks are really tanky. He can walk through storm clouds and he's basically fine. Kerrigan just mopping up the rest of these resources, picking up whatever is available to her to just put back into her economy and trying to max out her army as well. I think Kerrigan, yeah, these commanders are ready to now deal with this next shuttle wave, so we'll just see what is going to happen now. Kerrigan get caught in the stasis. Kerrigan got caught by an Oracle Stasis Ward. That is kind of amusing. But yeah, the shuttle wave, I think Dehaka might be able to pick off a couple of these shuttles as they are moving past this area. They're not pushing into the enemy base, but I think if they are able to push in here, I think it'll be fine. But they don't really want to do that. So Kerrigan will be ready as well here to deal with this. Okay, there is an attack wave now that has started to spawn, and Kerrigan I think is going to end up getting focus fired down by that. And these Mulisks are getting caught right in the middle of a Blizzard Stormcloud, and this could be really, really bad because if that Hybrid casts another ability, or there is a Lava Burst here, these Mulisks could all end up dying. They actually ended up surviving, which is very surprising there. Yeah, I think 5 Mulisks ended up dying in that engage. That is pretty much the rest of his wave. Just see how quickly these things just explode from these Mulisk attacks. Kerrigan's Mulisks deal an insane amount of damage, but nowhere near as insane amount of damage as they used to deal before Blizzard fixed it. Blizzard took away the fun from Kerrigan's Mulisks, where they used to... I think like something like 10 Mulisks could basically destroy a train on Oblivion Express. It was just an insane amount of damage they could deal. It was a really good time for Kerrigan, and then Kerrigan got nerfed because those things were really broken. Every single map you played, you would go for a mass Mulisk build and just murder everything with just with a tiny handful of Mulisks. It was very fun to play Kerrigan at that time. But rip those Uber Mulisks. I think those of you that have played this game long enough would remember that patch. It's a really fun time to play Kerrigan. And yeah, I think Dehaka now wants to start pushing in here, which is actually not a bad idea. Like, these commanders are relatively strong enough that they can actually push in, but I don't think they really want to do that. And I think now there is now the triple wave here of shuttles, and see how they're going to engage this. They have an air unit, so they can actually go ahead and just snipe these shuttle waves very quickly, but see how they are going to go and engage this. There are some Mama ships over here. These Mama ships are going to be cloaking pretty much everything. Dehaka is a detector, so he's going to end up... He does end up eating one of those motherships here, causing a psionic explosion. I don't know whether he ended up killing off anything here. Primal Mules are stuck in this Blizzard Stormcloud right now. Dehaka jumps into the middle. He might end up getting focus fired down, and he ends up dying off to that. Kerrigan has ended up cleaning up that first shuttle wave. There's 2 more shuttle waves available. Dehaka's Mules are just going to slug it out with the rest of these enemy units as well. There's an immobilization wave over here to just stun the rest of the units. Probably not necessary because Morvar had that covered right now. And there is a shuttle wave that is as well spawning over here. And Kerrigan's Mules are basically going to melt through every single thing over here without any problems. And now these Mulisk flocks are going to be moving towards the last shuttle wave, and this shuttle wave is not going to stand a chance. There is nothing to defend them. There's one random tuna fish hybrid here. That tuna fish hybrid is not going to do anything. One random Mama ship as well tries to cloak these shuttles. Just a moment too late, but that Mama ship goes down as well. And I think this is pretty much the last shuttle. All the shuttles have been cleared, all the bonus is done, and that is GG.